Today, we are honored to have with us a distinguished leader whose commitment to public service and dedication to the betterment of our nation embodies the very spirit of excellence we strive to instill in our graduates, all of you. It's my privilege to introduce our commencement speaker, United States Senator Todd Young from the Hoosier State. A tireless advocate for the people of Indiana, Senator Young's journey from his roots in the Hoosier State to the halls of Congress serves as an inspiration to us all. His life has been all of service. He's a graduate of the Naval Academy, he's a Marine, he was a congressman, and now he's a United States Senator, and I submit to you he is a statesman on behalf of the entire nation. Throughout his tenure in Congress, Senator Young has championed legislation that has positively impacted the lives of countless Americans, including the CHIPS and Science Act, and most recently the Fusion Energy Act, Building Civic Bridges Act, and the Fast Track to and Through College Act. From advocating for veterans' rights to spearheading initiatives aimed at fostering economic growth and innovation, Senator Young's tireless efforts have left an indelible mark on our nation's legislative landscape. His leadership on critical issues such as health care, education, and national security have earned him bipartisan respect and admiration. And I want to stress bipartisan effort and support. Senator Young's ability to bridge divides and find common ground in pursuit of the greater good serves as a shining example for us all. He reminds me of another famous Hoosier senator, Senator Richard Lugar, who was a statesman and a trailblazer and the famous chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Senator Lugar, like Senator Young, are repairers of the breach, trying to bridge the divides in our country. And that's why he's here today, because he's an example of what I want you to be as you enter into your lives. As we reflect on the culmination of your academic journey and look towards the future with optimism and determination, let us draw inspiration from Senator Todd Young's extraordinary achievements and unwavering dedication to making a difference in the lives of others. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Senator Todd Young.
Class of 2024, time is our most valuable commodity. Now, I understand that guests at today's ceremony customarily limit their remarks to 10 minutes. Having attended a number of these ceremonies as a student and as a speaker, I can't recall ever thinking a commencement address was too short. So I have a deal for you. If you pay attention for 5 minutes, I'll give you back the other 5. We'll do fine. I know this is perhaps an unconventional way to end your days in college. But I have to say, your experience by any measure has been unconventional here. It began in a global pandemic. It's ending amidst worrisome division across our country. Valparaiso's administration, their faculty, their staff deserve great praise for keeping this community safe and secure in the face of unprecedented challenges. But your generation's college experience was unusual. Classes on Zoom, chapel services on YouTube, social distancing, social media, both of which keep us apart. It's understandable if you felt lonely, depressed, perhaps unseen at times. And you're well within your rights if you're somewhat anxious about the future. It might mean you've been paying attention. You hardly had the chance to be college students, it seems. Now you're off into a world seemingly in chaos. Throughout time, terrible crises have either sent civilization spiraling or they've ushered in eras of renewal. As a society, it seems to me that we have yet to make our choice, but each of you can make your own choice. An ancient philosopher by the name of Epictetus once observed that on the occasion of every accident that befalls you, remember to turn to yourself and inquire what power you have for turning it to use. The pandemic and its after effects showed us not simply life's fragility, but also its uncertainty. Draw from it a lesson that is ancient but often escapes us. Our time here is not infinite. Use it wisely. Rise each morning as Benjamin Franklin did, wondering what good you can do. Retire each evening asking what good you did. Build a schedule, create routines, perhaps keep a journal, and find grace for others and yourself too. Assess what interests you on an ongoing basis and where you can make a meaningful difference in your communities, in your state, in your nation, across the world. Recognize the trivial and let those things pass. Giving your time and your energies to your friends and community will bring lasting fulfillment to your lives, I assure you. Insults on Instagram will soon be forgotten. This spirit can lift us civically as well. Class of 2024, time is indeed the most valuable commodity. Right now, we're suffering from a bout of national procrastination. Petty distractions prevent us from addressing challenges to our security, our economy, our union, challenges that we all share responsibility for solving. We're too often aggrieved, too easily offended. We confuse disagreement with contempt, humility with weakness, and we are increasingly cynical about one another and the institutions we share. Now, collectively, these trends rob us of self-determination. They discourage self-reflection and sow dysfunction if they're not checked. But as importantly, they squander precious time. Break the spell of these trends. You have it within your power. Focus on the essential. Your time at Valpo will not be defined by this difficult period. I know that. Instead, it will be defined by what you do next. And that can be enriched by lessons you have learned from this experience. So you leave here with an education, a world-class education that has taught you to think critically and placed the joy of service in your hearts. Put it to good use. Lift those around you. Lead lives of purpose and meaning. The author William March, who studied at Valparaiso, died shortly before his work found commercial success. Towards the end of his life, March wrote that the days pass so imperceptibly that a man can be tricked into thinking they will never end. That by his thriftiness, he can make them last forever. Of course, we cannot make them last forever. So use them with care, and they'll count. When they draw to an end, when each of you draws your last breath, you will have made a difference, and that will last. Congratulations, class of 2024. I won't take up any more of your time.
Let me leave you with this. I want you to think about the number 5%. I want you to reflect on 5%. Now, I know right now you're in no mood to reflect. You're busting to get out of here. A lot of you already have jobs that you're going to start next week. I've already started. We're in graduate school this summer, so I get it. No looking back for you, no rearview mirrors. But do a favor to the old man, humor me. If you live to 80 years of age, which I think is a pretty good bet, at the very least, the 4 years you will have spent here will constitute 5% of your lives. Now, that may not sound like a lot in isolation, but I submit to you that these 4 years, these 1,460 days, will be the most impactful and consequential of your lives. Like atoms that collide and then shoot off into the universe, the collisions you've had here at Valparaiso University will set you off on inalterable paths that would not have occurred but for this university. And let me give you some examples. The friendships that you have right now will be your friendships for the rest of your life. You may not see each other for decades, but when you do, you will still see the same 22-year-old face that you see right now, even though the hairline may be receding, the hair may be grayer, may have a jowl underneath the chin, maybe a little thicker in the middle, but what you see will be that same beautiful 22-year-old smile. 30 years from now, you will remember the professors who wouldn't accept mediocrity from you, who chewed you out when you deserved it and consoled you when you needed it. And 40 years from now, your bodies will still not have rejected the social compact we transplanted into you the moment you entered this university. The social compact that you would be servant leaders for the rest of your lives, that you would be beacons to all those who dwell in the shadows. Whether you like it or not, we're attached to your hip for the rest of your lives. We're going to influence your lives in imperceptible ways. We're going to be the angel on your shoulder whispering the answers to the tough questions just in the nick of time. When your back's against the wall with no way out, we're going to parachute in and light an escape route for you. We're like NATO. An attack on us, one of us, is an attack on us all. We got your back. We got your back. God help any person who underestimates a Valpo man or woman. Anybody who disparages or insults a Valpo man or woman, they will rue the day that they did that. Because they not only will have to contend with you, they're going to have to contend with the family. Thousands strongs literally across this country, literally across this world. Now today, you are graduating from being our sons and daughters to being our brothers and sisters, our equals, our peers. Maybe after this ceremony, I'll even let you call me Padilla, which I know you call me behind my back. You are now entering the society of learned men and women, but here with a twist at Valpo, because here we know that the power of a sharp mind is multiplied tenfold by the compassion of a soft heart. As enlightened men and women with hearts and souls, will you follow the directive that Mark the Evangelist said that Jesus gave to the 12 apostles? And it's apt for an accomplished crowd like you. Mark the Evangelist said that Jesus said, if any should be first, he must be last of all, he must be servant to all. And I trust you can do that. It's because of you I have a lot more confidence in the future of this country. Because of you. Now, there are a lot of issues in this country. You see them on social media, TV, newspapers. Country's in a lot of hurt. Maybe the worst thing in some respects is this polarization thing, the division. Now, my generation hasn't done a very good job of resolving this polarization thing. I'm relying on you to do that. Because right now you are a blank palette, and you're not scarred by bias or hate or life itself. Life itself. But I ask you, I implore you, don't anchor yourself to MSNBC or Fox News, the New York Times, or the Wall Street Journal. No one person, no one group owns the truth. And with your insatiable appetite, you know where to find the truth on your own. We taught you to do that. And with your open and nimble hearts and minds, we trust that you will be repairers of the breach, bridges to the divisions in our country. Now, it's not going to be easy being a repairer of the breach. It's not going to be easy being a servant leader, because to be a servant leader, it means you run to the sound of hopelessness, to the cries of despair, for the pleas for justice. Not easy to do that, but I have every confidence that you will, on more times than you can count. You will be like the cavalry riding into the rescue, just at the nick of time, but this time dressed in brown and gold. Now, I'm going to tell you something that's going to go in one ear and out the other, because you'd expect me to say that. But you are going to be big deals. When Julie Winkler was in your seat in 1996, did she have any idea that she would be the chief commercial officer of one of the largest derivative exchanges in the world? Probably never thought that was possible. Just like you think right now, you being a leader, a person of influence, is not something that you think is achievable or reachable in your own mind. But I assure you, in this audience and in the next graduation, there's going to be an owner of an international engineering firm in Chicago. There's going to be a hedge fund owner in New York City. There's going to be head of a healthcare system in Los Angeles. There's going to be a high school principal in Indianapolis. There might even be a United States senator. I have every confidence that's going to happen. Now, when you reach that exalted position, make me a promise. When you're having a drink on the weekend and you're trying to reflect back about how you got to this leadership position, this exalted position, whatever it might be, do me a favor and think about how you spent 5% of your life at this small yet mighty Lutheran university that punches above its weight. 60 miles east of Chicago, 60 west of South Bend, 180 northwest of Indianapolis. In other words, the center of the universe. This is the place that opened its arms and embraced you when you were 18 and will still be giving you bear hugs when you're 68. We will always be here for you. The light of that beautiful chapel will always be on for you and will illuminate the way out for whatever challenges or hard times you have. You no longer need a compass. You no longer need GPS. Just look toward the light and you'll find your way. So class of 2024, congratulations. May God love you, because we sure do, and we always will.